the other thing I wanted to even touch on was that when people seem to be annoyed, let's say, by people's success, right? Um, I think that is one of the areas in life where, yeah, sometimes we look at people and we see how far they've come or how great life is going or how great we think life is going for them, right? And you might get annoyed by that or you might feel some type of way. But I think that's one area where we need to check ourselves really as people, because you never know what a person has gone through or what fire furnace they were being pruned in to come out as that refined gold, right? So like even here, right, maybe people outside looking in are like, oh, I'd love to come to Ireland, I want to be like you and this kind of thing. But the one thing in life is everyone's shoes fit for themselves. You can't walk in someone else's shoes, right? So when you see the product of maybe tears, wet pillows, crying yourself to sleep, and just different things like that, you just are quick to judge or say, oh, why? How did she get that? Or how did they get that? But there's always some work behind the scenes, and there's this pruning that happens that nobody gets to see, those nights or those different things that people go through to just uplift themselves and get to a place where they're confident, where they can walk the journey that they're called to walk, or that success even in their career that actually they've been working late nights, they've been grinding. So I think it's always good to celebrate people and know that, your journey is your journey. I can't walk in anybody else's shoes but mine. So just own that and celebrate success for what it is, not for what you may think it is or where you think it came from. So, moving on to the next sort of area where I could say things started changing for me spiritually a lot more, or it was more of the time where I think I had to find God. And I think a year after I had moved, I lost my mother. And that was a tough time, I have to say. And it was during the COVID period, so we actually couldn't travel at the time. So it happened very quickly as well. So in Feb, she was ill, and in July, she passed away. So that was, questioning life, questioning what is going on, and how do I even live, without hope, because at my big age, I just didn't have that hope to live or to continue, because I know, I'm just thinking back where, I was older, yes, but I still needed my mother. My daughter was young. She still needed a grandmother in her life, or one of her grandmothers in her life. So it was quite a challenge, and I found myself, just looking for hope. And I recall I was trying to explain to my husband in the best way possible that I can't get up. I don't want to get up. And even during the pickups was just, I think for a whole year, I just kind of hibernated. And the only thing I could really do was just show up for work. Okay, this is as much as I can do today. But in that brokenness, I had to find God, and I had to search for something that was going to make sense in terms of just picking up the pieces and going forward. And I think sometimes I was older when I lost my mother. What about people who lose their mothers at a very young age? I just can't imagine. Yeah, I can't imagine, and I probably can't speak on it because I don't know. But I can empathize. So, I think in that process, it was one where I realized, okay, no one's coming to save me, and I can only depend on God. So, I really had to journey with God, and there was a lot of people who I reached out to as well. That helped me along the way, because it was it was a moment that I honestly didn't have hope. And I think through that process, I think I had to learn to rely and depend on God. I think it's one of those things where it says in Proverbs 3, verse 5 to 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him and he will direct your path. So it was a moment of really trusting God because I couldn't understand what had happened. I couldn't understand why it happened, but I had to think above myself. I had to think above my pain, above whatever it was that I was feeling and the depressive thoughts. I had to trust God that even in my pain, he can still birth a good thing. He can still do a good work in me, you know? So, through a lot of therapy, prayer, everything that I could do to just build myself up again, I went through it. I don't know if I'm completely out of it, but I know that my only saving grace in that moment was just turning back to God and looking to him for my answers. And to be honest, some answers I did get, some answers I didn't get. And, you know, those things, obviously God reveals, he reveals what he needs to reveal to you. You don't need to know everything, and maybe you're not ready to know everything, but I definitely got some answers just through seeking God and even acknowledging my own limitations, right? Because in the word it says his strength is made perfect in your weakness. But that's only if I acknowledge I'm weak. So coming to the point where I understood that, okay, in my own strength, I can't get up. I don't want to get up. But, you know, just relying and depending on God every day and understanding that he began a good work in me, so he'll bring it to completion. So even if I'm feeling this pain right now, you know, I think it also says in the word, weeping may endure for the night, but joy comes in the morning. So there is a time to weep and there is a time to be joyful. So just understanding what season I was in, right? So being in that season, but also coming out of that season. And just embracing the challenges. It's not the nicest challenge to embrace, but I would say, there's always something good to come out of a terrible situation. It sounds strange, but, I drew closer to God. And when I look back, my mother was actually a very prayerful woman. She was always on her knees and praying for us. So as painful as it was, it led me back to the journey that I'm supposed to be on in building my family and serving the Lord as, you know, I'm called to do. That's my purpose and that's what I understand it to be. So I think it's been a journey. All of this has happened in Ireland, so it makes it a special place for me. And even the support I've gotten around and through the years with all of this has been amazing. And it is part of the Journey to the Fabric of Ireland podcast because it's really about inspiring hope. And, you know, even though the circumstances may look a certain way, there's still a hope that we can, you know, anchor ourselves in God or anchor ourselves in one who doesn't change, because certain things change, right? Things can change over time, or people change. You know, sometimes we act out of emotions, which are fleeting. So there's always ups and downs, but the one that remains the same is God. So he's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And part of my journey to exploring the identity of Ireland was to understand how, you know, we bring God into our situations, into our lives, and how he is integrated into the fabric, and just understanding people's stories as well, stories of hope, resilience, and, you know, where people have come from, where Ireland has come from, and where it is today. So it's been an interesting journey. I don't think it's going to end. I'm still here. And yeah, I'd love to engage more with you guys in the comments. And if you'd like to send me an email, I'll put the email address somewhere in the descriptions. And yeah, just engage on your own stories of hope or relocation. I know some people in the Fabric of Ireland community are not in Ireland. Shout out to you. So yeah, just let's share stories about different challenges that we've gone through, and what brings us together with all these different challenges you face when you're in another country, or and it's not necessarily, I know it's not always that it's challenges, but also good stories that have come out of your, journey in another place. And yeah, let's engage. So yeah, that brings me to the end of this episode. I appreciate all your support and would love to keep engaging with you in the comments. So catch this episode on Spotify and YouTube, and also subscribe if you haven't. And yeah, follow Fabric of Ireland podcast on Instagram. It's at fabric_Ireland. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.